this needs to be more spooky. I like that. Okay. So, as you can see, I'm not in my normal place, nor does my room look the same, and that's because it just got repainted. I'm in the process of redecorating, and as a result, one, the audio is going to be really echoey. Two, all of my furniture is literally like in a pile in the middle of my room, so bear with me. Also, very excitingly, I am using a real camera that I got from school. Fingers crossed, like, this works and the audio is okay and everything, because I don't really know how to use it yet. The reason we have the orange lighting going on is because it is in fact October, and my October TBR is just chock full of horror slash thriller reads, and I'm very excited about that. The first book, which I'm going to read in October, I got it on ebook from my library. I will be reading Bird Box by Josh Malerman. I have mixed feelings about this because I already know the premise from the Netflix movie, which I didn't watch because, as I've mentioned, I'm not a big like horror movie person, but I like horror books. It's not going to have as much of a shock factor, but I have a feeling like with most movies, the book's gonna be better than the movie. Okay, so the next book that I'm going to read is I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Reid. Actually, every book that I'm reading this month I got from the library, so support your local library. It saved me like $160 to get them from the library instead of buying them. I'm Thinking of Ending Things is really popular at the moment. It's a thriller where the protagonist is visiting her boyfriend's parents in like this remote location. Things get a little weird. That's what I know from reading. Let's see what it says here. What follows is a twisted unraveling that will haunt you long after the last page is turned, and it also says at the very top, you will be scared but you won't know why. So this is a little different than like a classic horror, which is kind of in your face creepy. It's a lot more of a like mind-bending thriller type. But I really want to watch the Netflix movie because I've been hearing great things about that, but naturally I have to read the book first. The next book that I'm going to read, which I'm very excited about, is The Deep by Nick Cutter. I was watching Paperback Dreams as per usual, and she was raving about this book and said that it was very, very scary. Can you even see the cover? Like, is there a glare? I don't know. Do like a makeup artist wait. Perfect. The most like used word in the reviews is disturbing, and what else? The premise of this book is that there is some sort of plague, and the cure for it is like way deep down in the ocean, like really deep in the ocean, and when this group of scientists, you know, goes down deep in the ocean to get the cure, I think it's called ambrosia, there's like something down there, and they're trapped there. That's it. That's all I need to know, because I think that the ocean is terrifying. So all they had me after they said they went down deep into the ocean. Done, sold, done. I will be reading this book and I will be upset by it. Great. The next book that I'm going to read is not really a horror book or a thriller necessarily. It's called Exile from Eden by Andrew Smith. It's the sequel to Grasshopper Jungle, which I read like 2 or 3 years ago. I loved it. I really like Andrew Smith's writing, even though sometimes, like, it's good, but he's just writing teenage boys. Sometimes I don't need to know what teenage boys are thinking, but Andrew Smith writes it anyway. However, Grasshopper Jungle was a great plot. It's a young adult like dystopian novel about the apocalypse. Alien grasshoppers come down to Earth, and these teenagers are hiding underground. That's like basically what I remember from it, more or less. So what I get out of Exile from Eden, who knows? In the little sleeve it says, it's been 16 years since an army of horny, hungry, yeah, that's Andrew Smith, what 6-foot-tall praying mantises forced Eric's family underground and into the hole where he was born. One of my friends already read this and she recommended that I do not waste my time, but I already got it, so meh. Okay, the next book that I'm going to read is The Winter People by Jennifer McMahon. I was debating whether or not I should read this book. Whether or not I should read this book in the actual winter when I'm like snowed in, but I impulsively got it from the library this month. This book also takes place in Vermont, which I'm very happy about because if you've ever been in the wilderness in Vermont, it is creepy. It's very creepy. It's very remote. It's definitely like New England Gothic, so I'm very glad that that is the setting for this book. This is more or less like a story about a mother searching for her lost daughter / a ghost story, history repeating itself, all things which I do enjoy. I'm not a huge fan of ghost stories. I'm much more a fan of horror novels which are more about like the horrible things that people will do in very difficult situations. But I do believe that this book will eventually evolve into that. Like the premise is a ghost story, but by the end of it, I think it'll be a much more of a human-to-human horror, if that makes sense. That's, you know, my guess, my hope, my assumption. The next book that I'm going to read is also called The Deep by River Solomon. This one's a shorter book. I like to throw in short books between like my mid to long books just to have a break in it. I've been wanting to read this book since like August, but I haven't been able to get my hands on a copy until I put one on hold in my library for like 2 months. So again, another very popular book. Well, it's basically about mermaids, kind of. They're not like, you know, Disney mermaids, if you can see from the cover, which are the descendants of African slave women who were thrown overboard by slavers. And the premise is that the protagonist, I believe, is what's called a historian because their memories are too difficult and too traumatic. One of the water-dwelling people, I guess. I don't want to call them mermaids because I feel like that's like too Disney. I don't think this is like The Little Mermaid here. Basically, so the historian has to hold all the horrible traumatic memories of their ancestors. Couple things. One, it's a little bit of like historical fiction thrown in there. Love a good historical fiction. Two, I think that it's very timely. I also think that I really like the whole premise of it, like the setting, I think is a great way to explore those topics in a new way. And I also think this is going to be a very like symbol and metaphor heavy book, which I always love because it's got all the markers of it, being that it's short, it's a fantasy book, but it is tied into real life and real history. So I think this is going to be like just fantastic. I mean, I'm sure that there's a reason it took me months to get my hands on it. The next book I'm going to read is an absolute unit. It's called The Terror by Dan Simmons. Another nautical horror. Yeah, I don't know what it is with me and nautical horror at the moment because that is a very specific subgenre, but I'm terrified of the ocean. So it works perfectly, yay! This one also has a map, which is fantastic. I love it when books have maps. So this novel takes place in 1845. It's literally about a ship called the HMS Terror. Anyway, they go into the Arctic Circle, the ice kind of, you know, like they're shut in, and then they are trying to survive on dwindling supplies. Notice a theme here, people put in very difficult situations, so they start doing horrific things. My personal favorite, why is my camera blinking? Yeah, so people are doing horrible things, but then there is this supernatural element of some sort of being, some sort of creature stalking the ship, and they are trapped, and everything is cold and dark and ice and the ocean. It's also 766 pages long. I thought it was like about this long when I was looking at it on Goodreads, and I didn't really take the time to look at the page number, which is there, which is available, which I totally could have done, but I did not. So I did this to myself. And I'm going to finish it because I said that I would, and yep. Last but certainly not least, The Troop by Nick Cutter. This is his first novel, so it will be interesting to see the difference between these two, this being the more recent novel, this being his first novel. I don't even know if this is his first novel, I shouldn't say that. This being the earlier novel. Again, I got this idea from Paperback Dreams. I saw her posting on her story about how it was nauseating her, and I thought, great, what a better time to read it than October. And this is what is on the cover. Okay, I have literally no idea what's on the cover, so I'm gonna have to clean that. This is a story about a group of scouts, like Boy Scouts. The scoutmaster takes them on a camping trip. He feels like something is a little off. And okay, according to the sleeve, it comes to them in the night, an unexpected intruder stumbling upon their campsite like a wild animal. He is shockingly thin, disturbingly pale, and voraciously hungry, a man in unspeakable torment who exposes Tim and the boys to something far more frightening than any ghost story. Within his body is a bioengineered nightmare, a horror that spreads faster than fear. One by one, the boys will do things no person could ever imagine. Yes! Awesome! Is that it? Girl, yes, that is it. Okay, so here's the deal. I will probably add books to this by my wrap-up, not because I'm gonna finish all these so fast, I need to add more, but no, because I will be reading books for school, and I do include those. I like to make comments on them, but I don't do the same kind of in-depth review that I would for a book that I'm reading for pleasure. But I will comment on it, because I always have a lot to say. So when my room is made up, it's definitely going to have some pretty nice vibes. So I might do a little room tour, I might not. I haven't decided yet. Hopefully I will be throwing in a reading vlog or two. If you guys let me know in the comments like which book you would like me to do a reading vlog of, I'm more than happy to take those suggestions. What else is happening in my life? I should have made more notes. I will be recording my podcast episode tomorrow. I will be sending it to my editors, and hopefully it will be up by Monday if everything goes well. Fingers crossed. We haven't all had to do this remotely before. Normally it's like so much more simple to produce and edit and record podcasts, but you know, it is what it is. So yes, I will be posting about that very soon. You should follow me on Instagram because that is where a lot of this information will be coming out. That should be linked in the description. Should be linked in the description. If not, it is linked on my channel, and the username for my Instagram is at the end of this video. Okay. Yeah, that's all I can think of. I'm really excited for this. September wrap-up coming soon once I kind of like get my life together because school is kicking my butt a little bit. It's okay, I signed up for this. Great, okay, thank you for watching. Bye. Okay, that's too intimate. No. Bye.